Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Oodles and Oodles of Luxury and Utility. It is the 2020 Lexus RX 350L. And that L is for longer, because this vehicle is 3.4 inches longer than the regular Lexus RX. And the reason why? Because there's a third row seat. Now here's the funny part about that. It doesn't have a longer wheelbase, it's just a longer vehicle. And we're going to show you the pros and cons to that in this episode of This Just In. That's right, because we just got this thing. And I got to tell you, I am, and it's not a secret, a Lexus fan. I really like the build quality of Lexus products, so do a lot of other people. The Lexus RX is the best selling of all the Lexus vehicles, and it has been for years. Did you know that in the United States, this vehicle came out in 1998? In Japan, it came out in 1997, and it was called the Harrier from Toyota. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just recently found that out. Thank you, Wikipedia. So, that vehicle, when it came out, went on to sell over 2 million units since it was introduced. Impressive, no? Now, there's another thing about this vehicle, and that is its configurations. You can get one, the regular V6, you can get one as a hybrid. And the interesting thing about that is that the Lexus RX Hybrid is the best selling of all the Lexus hybrid vehicles they make. Once again, good selling vehicle. So what is it that they did right? What did they put in the secret sauce to make this vehicle their best seller? Well, let's start from the inside and then we'll work our way to the outside. And maybe you can get clued in on it. But I wanted to show you something first. Okay, I just took my seatbelt off. All right, I'm in drive. I'm not going to be going anywhere. Later on, I'm going to show you why that is really amusing when we end the video. As it stands right now, let's talk about what we've got on the interior, because this is the big story. When you buy a Lexus RX, you're not buying it for its aesthetic beauty, which is debatable. Some people like the way it looks, some people do not. I happen to love the interior setup of Lexus vehicles, and this one is no different. We are talking about a pewter finish, raised stitching, yes, a lot of buttons, and this is unfortunate for some people. This is their touchpad. If you look at what I'm doing here, it corresponds with what's going on the screen, and it has haptic feedback. For those of you who do not know, this pad has a small little servo underneath it that actually kicks back in and lets me know that something's been selected. So I feel a little bump every time I go over something. So it's a little bump, bump, bump. That's the feedback. I'm not a big fan of the touchpad, to be honest with you. I think it's too sensitive and not very accurate. They used to have like a mouse control, and I preferred that. Not everybody else did, but once again, it's a matter of taste. Here is the good stuff, though. Over here, you're able to choose from the eco mode, the normal mode, and the sport mode. And it actually makes a little bit of a difference when you're driving. The eco mode will change things like your acceleration, like little things like the air conditioning and whatnot, to help conserve a little bit of MPG. Whereas in the sport, it seems to tighten everything up, and it's much more responsive, the throttle response, and it moves pretty quick. Plus, you can actually lock up center, it's basically a diff, and be able to proportion 50-50 front and rear in case you're stuck in snow or a little bit of mud. I've actually gone off-road in the second and third generations of this vehicle. This is the fourth generation. So those two did really well. True story, I actually saw somebody with a first generation Lexus RX rally the vehicle in amateur rally in Palmdale, California years and years ago. I think he stole his mom's car and did that. And this is a popular mom's car, family car, I should say, so to speak. And one of the reasons why is because it has a lot of interior space, especially in this vehicle with the front and second row. However, in a moment, I'm going to show you the third row. That is something that is not expected. Let's hop out. Now, you may be wondering about its power plant. 290 horsepower, V6, 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive, and in its current form, it's able to get 21 mpg combined. Because it's a Lexus, I can guarantee you, when I open this hood, you're not going to see a lot. They feel that plastic speaks volumes. And plastic there is. No surprise, really. What is a surprise is how smooth this engine is. It's not really all that powerful. I mean, I would prefer to have over 300 horsepower. There are competitors out there who actually have a lot more power. But as it stands, incredibly smooth. The 8-speed shifts remarkably smooth as well. And that's kind of the point of the whole vehicle, right? Effortless luxury and reliable luxury. Lexus is still one of the most reliable brands out there. By the way, what do you think of this green? I love it. It's a beautiful color, isn't it? Those are 20-inch wheels, by the way, with Michelins on them. And I like the wheels. I think they look really good on this vehicle. They fill the wheel wells quite well. I know I said wheel wells and quite well. Sorry. This is interesting. I do like this. They're adding a little bit of trim, but they're not being obnoxious about it. It kind of flies under the radar, which is really the whole point of a lot of Lexus vehicles, not to be too ostentatious, right? Now, remember I was telling you that this is 4.3 inches longer than the regular RX? So the regular RX would stop about here, and that's where all your stuff would be. Now what they did, instead of adding a larger window for the third row, is they didn't. They basically said, well, we'll just add this little plastic component here, and then the glass actually starts over here. This is where the regular RX window would be as well. It was an afterthought is what I'm getting at, guys. And I'll show you what I mean. You may think I'm bad-mouthing Lexus for doing this third row, but when you see what I see and you experience what I've experienced, you'll understand why it's a little bit of an issue. All right, so here we are. This loading area is actually quite nice. Lots of extra space, once again, more than the regular RX. Now let me lift this seat. By the way, if you're timing this, prepare to sit down and have a bag of chips while you're waiting. Here we go. Up we go. And up we go. Now, right now, kids, it's still going up, by the way, guys. Kids are screaming and kicking at you and biting your leg while they're waiting to get into the back. They're screaming still screaming. There we go. Okay, it's all the way up. Now, look at the second row in front of there. Cameraman, can you get in there real tight? You may notice something kind of interesting. There is less than 1 inch between the third row and the second row. Now, let me show you how I can help. Fortunately, the seat does slide. Okay. Now, all the way forward, I can get my teenager, who's about 5'7", back here. Unfortunately, cameraman, come on over here and let's see the trade-off. Trade-off is that. Oops. Yeah. So in order for everybody to be comfortable in this 3-row crossover, you have to make some compromises. Whoever's sitting in the front has to pull forward in order for the person in the middle to pull forward in order for the person in the third row, who better be small, to be somewhat comfortable. That's the trade-off. Now, this is, in my mind, something Lexus did because so many competitors were building and or already had 3-row crossovers. Hell, in our studio right now, we have a BMW X7, which has a much more comfortable third row. Although, granted, that's a very different vehicle, but to a certain degree, they still compete. BMW doesn't really need to compete with Lexus on this level. They have a big bad V8 and It's built to be a barnstorming, really fast car that you could put three rows in. This, however, needs to be more comfortable. And this is where it unfortunately falls on its face. It's kind of a bummer. Let's go back inside the car. Talk to you about a few details. When we got this car, can you see this? This is hanging off the mirror. This is Lexus' subtle way of saying, we really want you to talk about the safety systems that we have. It's known as the Lexus Safety System Plus Suite. And it is available pretty much in all their models now. And it adds to what they have as standard safety. So, pre-collision system with daytime and low light pedestrian and daytime cyclist detection, because those cyclists need protection. Lane departure alert with steering assist, which I can guarantee you works really well. Automatic high beam, dynamic radar cruise control, lane tracking assist, and road sign assist. And it works. It actually recognizes road signs as you drive. There's more. Pre-collision system with daytime. I really went over most of this. So anyway, they weren't being subtle about this. One final thing I wanted to talk about was the overall popularity of this vehicle and perhaps why. Last year, 2019, they sold in North America over 120,000 Lexus RX of varying types. That is a lot for a luxury brand. Once again, best-selling vehicle Lexus has. So, why do they sell so many? Well, first of all, before we talk about that, one thing you guys should know, it's actually a little bit down from 2018, just a little tiny bit. I suspect it has something to do with the third row edition because a lot of people were looking forward to the L model, and when they finally built it, it was a little disappointing. As I showed you, that third row, it's not a joke, but it certainly is something worth giggling at. It's just not enough. But the vehicle drives in a phenomenal fashion. It's very comfortable to drive. It's very, very comfortable to stay in and to be seated in as long as you're on the third row. It's relatively economical. It's really not that expensive either. Now think about this. Once again, we're talking about it going up against vehicles that cost $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. This one, which is fully loaded, as you can see, is that an actual six? Yes, it is. $63,109. The base price is $46,700. That is a bargain for the amount of tech that you get with this vehicle and the cachet you get with the name Lexus. Not everybody agrees. Some people feel that Lexus has lost their way in design or whatever. Some people say that Hyundai is coming along with their Genesis and they're absolutely going to destroy Lexus, which I'm looking forward to because competition is the best thing for everybody, right? But as it stands with this vehicle, the way it is, I think they did a fantastic job. Now I wanted to show you one more thing while we're here. Turn on the engine. Okay. Hear that? Okay. That's the bonging. I think you heard that, right? Give it a minute, and it's going to do it again. See if it... Give it a minute. Of course it doesn't do it. So what it will do is it'll bong again in a few moments. Bing, 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 bing. Then it'll stop, and then it'll do it again. Then it's as if it took a big breath, and it goes bing, 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 bing. And what my point is here is it's like my wife who yells at you a little bit, then really yells at you a lot. And all of that is about the seatbelt. Toyota takes safety very seriously, and I suppose I should too. So thanks for joining me on this Just In. I hope you learned a little bit. I'll tell you one thing, I am really looking forward to taking the family out in this vehicle and pretending that I have money. For the Fastlane Car, this is Nathan. Don't forget to go to tflcar.com for news, views, real-world reviews, and more of this just in.